What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy build of the USS Reliant. I am Jordan with a line in the stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And here we are, man. We're like, what would you say? Halfway through this build, maybe? Somewhere?
Oh, I hope so.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. We're a couple months in. This is probably we're approaching month 3 or so. Wow, it is week number 13 of this build. And it's funny is like I look at the model, there's not much left of it that's stock. And we're kind of coming to the end and just waiting for parts. And so with the slowdown on the build, where are you at with things, and what are you looking to accomplish this week?
Oh, well, first of all, I'll tell you what I did last week. I managed to get some more work done on my weapons pod. I trenched out some more to run all my lights. Not knowing lighting so well, I just trenched enough for all the lights, and I said, you know what, I'll just run each one with a positive, negative, and be done with it. That's probably the safest way, I figured. So I kind of did that, and then I worked on the pylons coming down to trench those out as well as doing my bridge and getting the lights drilled out for, or the hole drilled out for the flashing light on top. So that's kind of what I did. And what did you do last week?
I got my weapons pod modified. I got my 2, what we found out is going to be red beacons down here on the bottom taken care of. I got my 2 spots here waiting for the clear resin parts taken care of. Got my Photon torpedo launchers installed. And got my top beacon taken care of. So, yeah, that's what I got done. I'm going to wind up for all the difficulty in getting this part assembled at the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and take that off and light block it and then assemble it and then use Tamiya for that process. And so, so it just melts it and gets a little bit better of a connection. Ken mentioned that I should probably do that, and I was kind of the same mind beforehand, so you just further reinforced it. So yeah, that's what I got done last week. So I guess before we get started about what we're going to be doing this week, we have something kind of exciting to tell you. You want to go ahead and say it?
Well, we now have an official sponsor. We have Cass at Lake Monster Details. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cass. I really appreciate it. You awesome work, and you've done so much for us, and we really appreciate it.
Really do. It's pretty cool. Like it's the think tank that Will is. Cass is the one kind of putting it out there, and Will's doing the work, and he's printing for himself, but all of these things are going to be made for the public very soon, and
Yes.
we kind of get to beta test it, and it's really cool that we get it before you do. But Cass, thank you. That is fantastic. We really appreciate it, and all the hard work is not going unnoticed. People are really enjoying the stuff that you guys are creating.
So be sure to go and check out Lake Monster Detail. They have lots of great aftermarket parts for many different starships, and the quality is phenomenal.
It really is. Well, so on this Lake Monster Details sponsored build, Ken, what are you going to be doing this week?
Well, this week, because I don't have the clear parts yet for the grills underneath my weapons pod. So this week I'm going to change gears, and I'm going to switch over to my nacelles. I watched your videos and saw what you had done. I'm very impressed with the putting of the lights in extra on the, I guess, it would have been on the inboard side.
Inboard side, yep.
Yeah, same side as the blue chiller grills. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to be doing the light back here and just generally getting some lights ready to go, including lights for my Raytheon effect. And
nice. And are you going to be doing?
Oh, sorry.
So are you going to be doing the red crystal up front as well?
Yes, I will be doing the red crystal up front as well. Thank you for reminding me.
Awesome.
I'm not sure what I'm going to use. We did get some information from Jody over at uh, uh, Trek Mods,
Yep.
and he actually had some little uh, crystal type parts he uses, and that's always an option. Or I'm also thinking maybe get the lead in there, seal it up, and use some UV resin. Is it also a possibility?
Nice.
But I won't be able to do that yet. I'll be able to put the light in, but I won't be able to put the clear resin in until we get these put together and uh, glued up. So,
That's right.
but that's kind of what I'm going to be working on this week. How about you, Jordan?
For me, it's going to be basically getting ready to the point where I can put in the clear parts. So now that I know that these are blue, the little vents are blue, I'm going to create some blue LEDs for that, and then I'm going to get my wire trenches run. I may just go down one side, but I'm going to be throwing a lot of LEDs in a tiny little space, so I'm probably going to have to go both sides. And then it's just going to be light blocking, light blocking, light blocking, light blocking. I'm going to throw a couple of really heavy coats of um, black primer down on the inside. I have noticed that this model really likes to glow. This plastic really likes to glow hardcore. So I have a feeling that we're going to have to do a lot of light blocking and paying attention. I may actually go with a dark primer, either dark gray or a black primer on the outside before even considering. I've also considered using aluminum tape on the inside as well. So what do you got
Okay.
there?
This is a primer I use. It's just a
The ultimate.
AK primer
Oh, the
black.
AK.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm definitely going with a black primer on the inside. Any black primer will work. So
Yeah, this is what I've been. I really like the War Painter, the matte black.
oh, there you go.
So
Yep, yep,
this
uh,
works really well for light blocking. But yeah, that's what I'll be using for that.
yep. Oh, right on.
Nice. Well, seems like we're kind of roughly in the same spot. Just for an update, we're waiting for Cass to get stuff printed, and we're expecting to get our parts here within the next week or two. Currently, my 3D printer is running right now, working on some more of the light boxes, so that we can get that done. So we're still steaming along. There's still plenty of work to do as we're waiting for the final little bits. But when we do get those parts from Cass, we're going to be making another couple of major modifications to the model as we're getting towards finishing the mods and getting into the lighting and then getting the assembly done. And I got to say, man, I'm really excited to see, even without paint, I'm really just excited to kind of see this model put together because we've been like playing with little parts of it here and there. And usually you don't mess with the model this long in parts when nothing's assembled. At least you assemble something. So
Yes.
I can't wait to get there. So, well, good luck to you, sir, this week.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I have to say, I think it was your latest video when I was watching. I have to agree with you. I too have not really looked at the actual kit instructions lately. We just
I
haven't needed to.
no, it's so strange, isn't it? Like you don't like you. When have you built a model and you're not like looking in the instructions? Like the thing with Star Trek kits is they're not super complicated, right? Like there's not that many parts. Like the Reliant, not the Reliant, excuse me, the the Reliant, the not the Defiant, the Runabout. All of these words that are very similar together. The Runabout, for instance, like if you weren't putting any lighting in there and you had a couple of hours, you could assemble that easy in a couple of hours. Like top to
Right.
bottom, paint it, top to bottom, done. Star Trek kits are fairly simple to assemble, but when we're not looking at the instructions because we're not doing anything per the instructions, it's
That's
fascinating.
exactly it.
But we've been building a model for almost 3 months.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Love it,
you
man.
folks at home can do a lot faster than we can because you'll be able to down the road buy all the parts you want all at once from Cass at Lake Monster Details.
Yep. And you can also build at your whim because we're kind of limiting ourselves to what we're talking about in these little intros every single week and not
Yes.
going any further than that. Because if Ken, if he had its time, it's every day is Saturday for Ken. Um, if Ken had his time, he would already have this thing built. So,
Yes.
well, awesome, man. Well, I look forward to seeing what you get done this week, and I wish you the best of luck.
And I wish you the same.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with this week's episode of the Reliant build series with Ken, the HTM buddy build. And some work has actually been done. I'm almost on time. I try to be on time. I'm very inconsistent these days with getting when I release my videos, but I've gotten some work done this week, and I'm ready to basically do a simple amount of work. Once again, as I'm kind of waiting for parts, specifically for the two little vents down here. So what I've done in between is I went ahead and burned in, I've created and then burned in two ultraviolet UV LEDs. I really just kind of wanted to get a very pale glow, pale blue glow out of each one of those, kind of like I did with the vent behind the main bridge on the top of the saucer. So I went ahead and created those. Those are all ready to go. And we're going to take a look at those here in just a little bit when we go to install everything. So I got my LEDs ready to go. My nacelles are also all ready to go, ready for the next phase of the build, which we'll address in the next episode. But then what I've also done is I went ahead and trenched out. Now, it's really hard to kind of pick up, but you guys can see the sanding spot here. And what I did is I just took my Dremel tool and I went ahead and just used a flat sanding pad and or sanding drum or whatever. And I went ahead and just sanded out an area, a trough for our wires to go through. I'm going to run all the wires down one side. I've kind of completed my design for the electronics for this portion of this. So I wanted a area that was going to be wide enough to accommodate all of the wires running through one side. We'll see if I regret this or not, but I think it's going to work. I've kind of test fit everything with some wires running in between and everything's looking good. So what we need to do now is I need to go ahead and get this into the paint booth. I'm going to go ahead and get this primed. I'm going to basically prime this on both sides. So I'm going to use my black primer first for the paint on this build. And that is going to be done purely for light blocking. We'll then go ahead and go over with a light gray primer over the top of it before we put our white base coat down. So I want to get a couple layers of paint on there, including inside and outside with black primer paint. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do for this episode. We're going to go ahead and get all of our parts primed up. I'll go ahead and show you a little clip of me doing so, run some music over the top of it. And then when we come back, we're going to go ahead and get all of our electronics installed. And I'm really excited about that because outside of those vents, that means that this portion of the build is actually complete and ready for assembly. So let's go ahead and get on and get into the paint booth and do something I haven't shown you guys for a very long time, and that's me airbrushing something. All right, so all of our parts are all painted up, light blocked on each side. Turned out pretty good, actually. And you can see a little bit more clarity of the trench that I went ahead and just took out there. I did things, man, like I really did. But very pleased with how that turned out. Now, we're going to be setting aside this piece and these two pieces today. And I was kind of looking at everything. I still need to do a little bit more LED creation. And I want to wait for the clear vents, the rear vents there, to arrive before I finish any of the lighting, because I need to kind of like plan out where all the LEDs are going to go and how I'm going to route the wires. But that being said, we can work on this little section right here, which is going to be the top. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take all four of our 2x3x4 LEDs, and we're going to go ahead and get them mounted in place. Now, before we do that, however, we need to go ahead and get our nav beacon or nav light, or not a formation light. This is a nav light. So this is going to be one of the blinking ones. We're going to need to go ahead and get this installed. Now, for this application, we're going to go ahead and use CA for getting the front LEDs put in place. But for this beacon here, I'm going to go ahead and use hot glue. I prefer using hot glue for in certain situations, and this hot glue is ready to go. I can tell you that. As soon as I moved it, it's getting all stringy. All right, we'll get going on that here in a second. But I like to use hot glue in certain applications, specifically here, as I don't want any of our light blocking spray, all over our primer, to get kind of marred by using CA inside here. It'll wind up smearing a little bit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our light run through, pushed into place just like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of our hot glue. Okay, just put down a little bit of that. What's funny is I got that all heated up for this one process. Let me go ahead and unplug that real fast. Excellent. Now, before that fully cools down, what I'm going to do is at my connection point, I'm also going to go ahead and run a little bit of hot glue over the top of that. What this is going to do is it's going to wind up sealing in the LED and the fiber optic in place, and use as a bit of a conductor for the light to run through the fiber optic. And so there's the fiber optic running up and through. I'm going to trim this down, not all the way, however. I'm going to trim it down probably just to about here or so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And when we paint, we're going to go ahead and leave it at this length. And what I like to do is trim it all the way down, right to surface level, as soon as it finishes, basically as soon as the paint cures up. So I'm going to go ahead and let that cure up and solidify for a couple minutes. And let's go ahead and move on to installing the Photon torpedo launchers. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. There's really no distinction, but two of these are done in red, red shrink, heat shrink, and then two of these are done in black heat shrink. So, for whatever reason, I'm going to go ahead and keep it symmetrical. So, what we're going to go ahead and do is first, I'd like to demonstrate how well the primer I used here for light blocking turned out. I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. So let's go ahead and power up one of our Photon torpedoes launchers, or LEDs, whatever you want to call it. There it is, all lit up. For a second, I was like, wait, what just happened? Why did it just die? Did it just burn out? There we go. And now you can see just the Photon torpedo light, but you cannot see any of that light bleed coming through that we saw before. Excellent. So go ahead and disconnect that. And to get this attached, I'm very simply And you know, while I'm attaching these, I might actually hook up my LED so I can see, hook up the power to the LEDs so I can see what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm very simply going to take a little bit of my CA, put it into my little basin here. I'm not going to use too much, but just a little bit. Then, using my glue tool, and it's definitely not my glue tool there, that's my 1mm. Use my glue tool. And then I'm simply going to take, right on the inside here, and just going around the outside of where we're going to be installing it. I'm going to go ahead, get this fitted up. Yeah, there we go. Get it lined up. Just like so. I'm going to go ahead and hold this in place for just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, so there it is. I went ahead and used a little bit of zip kicker to go ahead and secure that into place. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the other three, kind of do a little bit of time lapse, and I'll be right back. All right, so there are our first LEDs installed into this model. Very, very cool. So let's go ahead. It's still sticking out. Yep, got a little there. Let me go ahead and grab all my common positives here real fast. And all the common negatives. Let's light everything up. And we're all powered up. Excellent. There are the two rear Photon torpedo launchers. We have our nav light on top and our two forward torpedo launchers. Now, I realized I was supposed to debond this and re-put this together, and I still might. I want to use some Tamiya to melt that plastic together because we see a little bit of light bleed coming through there. So, otherwise, I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out. So, the next episode, provided that we don't get the, I don't think we're going to get the clear grill parts yet. So the next episode, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the nacelles and start getting some of that assembly taken care of. So, nice, quick, and easy one for you guys today. Got to show you a little bit of painting, which I haven't had a chance to do in a little while. So I think that's pretty cool. Otherwise, make sure you check out Ken's channel, Ken's Hobby Bench. He's probably a little ahead of me on the build if you guys want to see ahead to where we're going to be going. And once again, a big shout out to Will at the Ensign's Chair and Cass over at Lake Monster Details for sponsoring this build. So that's what I got for you guys today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. You guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world where we happen to be. And just remember that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.